everyone. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Talkoffame podcast. I am Kylie. I'm super excited to introduce you to today's guest, which is Liza Ginoni Gambino. Liza's a wife and mother of two teenage daughters and a burgeoning career as a fitness trainer. Last thing on her mind was competing in pageants, but had the urge of a close friend that the Shelton resident took the pageant plunge with no expectations and now can add Miss American Connecticut to her title. And thank you so much, Liza, for joining us today. I have so many questions to ask you in this short little time, but I really appreciate you joining us today. I am
No
super
problem. Thank
excited.
you.
And as someone who's a fitness geek, you are a fitness trainer, and as we're
Yes.
talking, I literally just got back from the gym 5 minutes ago,
Yep.
real life
Still in
time.
my gym clothes.
So much it's still in my gym clothes, but why did you kind of enter the pageant world as a fitness trainer? Because of course you're in a certain career field, but going to something else is a whole different story.
Right. So, I mean, as a fitness trainer, I mean, especially at my age, I'm being 50 this year. I'm always about making, other people feel well about themselves and no, just everyone feeling good. So when I went to this pageant, the reason, like I said, a friend of mine had really coerced me to do it. And she's like, you do this all day long. You, especially women, like you help women feel better about themselves from, young women to women in their 80s and their 90s coming
Mhm.
into my classes. So this was something that, like I said, my friend Christine is like, you're already doing it in the community in your fitness world. Why not keep going? Right? She's like, just keep going. So she had met the director of the pageant for Connecticut on a photo shoot. She's a photographer and a makeup artist. And she's like, you're already doing it. Just keep going. Go do some more. So that's how the kind of two mesh. She's like, you're already trying to encourage women, making them feel empowered, and that's like your thing. So that's my thing, and I just kept going with it with the pageant.
Might as well just bring into another journey. Like, as someone who loves to work, like I'm a big fitness person. I never was until like a month ago at the end of 2023. And I was like, might as well just start now. And with like fitness, you can do so many things with that. Like there's so many things
Yes,
you can do with fitness that you can turn into anything.
yes.
But like when did you kind of start like fitness a journey and everything like that? Was it like recently or has it kind of been a couple
Well,
of
the
years?
fitness, right? So fitness journey wasn't my career path. So I went to school for business, and I worked for 10 years in advertising and marketing. I was on a funny story. I was on a sales call to a gym. Funny. And after my sales pitch, the owner says, "Do you want a job?" And I went, "Clearly, have a job." And he's like, "No, you'd be great at sales." He's like, "I'm looking for somebody to work part time, just filling in a couple nights a week." He's like, "And it comes with a free gym membership." Now, back in my day, a million years ago, gym memberships were 50, 60, $70 a month. So I'm like, it's down the street from my house, extra money, free gym membership. I went, sure, why not? So I started doing, the desk and sales and things like that. And 3 weeks into my job, I was already at a full time job doing sales, like I said. 3 weeks in, the owner comes up to me. He's like, Liza, whatever her name was, Susie Q. She called out a spin. She got stuck in traffic. You have to go teach her class. I went, oh wait, hold up. I've taken one spin class ever in my life. I've been a fitness person, just I've always worked out, but I'm not a fitness instructor. He goes, well,
Mm.
there's nobody else here, and the program had just started because spin had just kind of gotten big, back in like 2001, 2002. And he's like, well, you're gonna have to go do it. I was like, um, the fitness director went down there, put a CD in, no idea what's on it. And she's like, all right, I have a client, gotta go. And so she's like, have fun. Meanwhile, I had no idea, but I'm like, I did one class and I'm pretty, easy learner. And I did it. I taught a spin class. Everyone's like, wow, that was awesome. So my owner of that particular club paid for all my training. I became a trainer, instructor, fitness instructor, kickboxing instructor, aerobics instructor. I became the head of the cycling program at the club, along with being their marketing director, of course, because then I decided to hang up my high heels for a set of Nike. And that's how it started about 22 years ago.
That's crazy. If that
It's a
was
crazy
my
story.
position, I would have been like, I'm leaving. This is all done. Like this is all
Right. I'm
my
like, sure.
way
All
kind of
right.
disabled. But I was like, this is not part of my contract, not part of what I signed up for. Okay. If you guys better give me a raise for this one, people. Like,
Right.
just
Yep.
keep it going.
Yep.
But
So I've been with it ever since. I love it.
it definitely seems like a fun job. Of course, you work out for free, membership free. Like it's like every
Right.
fitness person's dream.
Right. And then you're as I'm teaching, cause I teach fitness classes as well. So I'm working out, which I already have to work out. So that works out well. And plus I've had all that sales experience 10 years. Usually every club that I work at, I end up being the manager of that department because I have all the management skills behind it.
Especially with being at a place for so long, whether it's like sales, marketing, business, whatever it is, they always have the most experienced person always lead as a manager because of course whether you have like 10 years experience, 20 years experience, whatever experience you have to make it as a manager. I know a lot of places or organization jobs always look for the person that always has the amount of years rather than the least amount of years.
Yep, for
Fine.
sure.
But was Miss Connecticut American your first pageant, or did you kind of do a pageant before that?
So I'm not a pageant person. So when I was young, my I had a younger sister, and we did a little pageant together. We thought it was cute, but we realized when we did it just for fun. I did win a small title. It was like princess ambassador or something. This is 100 years ago, and what we realized is that there's a lot of work involved, right? Like there's a lot of
Mhm.
prep. A lot of these women, we walked in and like people had gowns and people had their makeup artists and their hair done, and I'm just curling her hair and doing myself and put my hair up in my own thing, right? And I just at that time it wasn't for me. Like that wasn't my journey at that time.
Mhm.
But when this opportunity came about, I wasn't looking at the pageant side of it, like the glitz and the glamour, which is great and fine and good. But being that I'm Mrs. Connecticut, American in the state, it opened doors for me to do the things that I really want to do. Like I said, empower more people, get involved in the community more than I have. And I've always been involved in the community. That's another reason why my friend said, hey, you're already volunteering everywhere. But it opened more doors. So I got to meet my senator, Senator Blumenthal, at one of my fundraisers that I did, which never would have happened. So any fundraiser that I'm at, I usually give him a call. I send his assistant an email. Hey, I'm going to be at this fundraiser, and he usually comes, which is amazing. I've met the mayor several times at some of the events I've done. I'm now part of the Rotary in my town, so I volunteer for seniors, children, and veterans. So this pageant opened the doors for other things that I want to do for my future. Getting a
Mhm.
little older, my kids are now. I have my last daughter's a senior, so I've done many, many, many years of the room mom and the room parent, and the coach and all these things. So I'm like, well, now the school's just about done. What can I do for my future? And that's why I chose to do the pageant. Didn't think I was going to win because, like I said, I kind of walked in there going, all right, I'm going to do my own hair. My
Like
friend
do
did my
like
makeup
your own
because
personal stylist, just do everything on your own.
right, right. So my friend did do my makeup because I said, if you're gonna, it was your idea to do this pageant, so you're doing my makeup for me because she's a makeup artist,
Mm.
Christina Foreman, amazing. But I said, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to do my makeup because I don't have a clue.
I have no clue how to do my makeup. You're a professional. Just do whatever you need to do.
Yes, yes. But it was such an experience, um, for to meet so many women across the country because you
Mhm.
meet women from 50 states. There's three pageants going on at the same time in Vegas. There's the Miss pageant, there's two Mrs. pageants. So you're meeting like 150 women from all across the country of all roads, all journeys, all ages, right? So it's a wonderful experience. My roommate and she's Mrs. Maine, awesome woman. I love her to death. She's like a sister. So not only did we get to do and open doors for ourselves, we get to meet other like-minded women in all different fields and make connections all over the country. That was great.
Definitely. I know with Miss America from whom I met or who I'm from, who are closest to in Pennsylvania, from Pennsylvania, especially from being a small town. From being a small town, you know everyone. You know everyone to the point
Yep.
where you know someone that lives like an hour away. Like it's a small town, little G. But of course, with Miss America, like you meet people not just in your state, but of course, people that live across the country from you. And of
Yes.
course, with me as well, I'm a big person that loves to do community involvement, empower other people. And whoever is Miss America, I was actually very close to applying for Miss America or something. I was very close, but I never did. I might consider it in the future, but
Do
Miss
it.
America, well, of course, with being empowered and being community involvement, there's so many ways you can do it, but like Miss America is such an important way to be involved if you really want to earn maybe some extra money or really want to get involved and meet new people.
For sure.
That is such an important like resource for that.
Yeah. My biggest thing, and I tell people of the pageant, it's like I said, the glitz and the glamour. That's where people go first. They're like, oh, you're taking pictures and you're putting makeup on, and I gotta admit, it was fun. It was 10 days in Vegas of having my hair and makeup done. It'll never be that again, right? But
Might as
it's
well
like I
just
said,
enjoy the moment while you have it.
I enjoyed it, right? It was fun. I got some awesome pictures of myself at 50 years old, right? Um, but I really enjoyed the whole experience because like I said, if you ever decide to do it, it just, like I said, it opens doors. I never would have met the senator of my state if I didn't do this. I never would have, had, announced my mayor at an event in town. Like, there's these things I just never would have done. When I tell my children, maybe if you don't do something like this, I even told them to do it. I said, do it for that. You learn how to just grow in your own self and figure out your own journey. But I think everyone, and I think it's becoming tough these days that people don't necessarily want to volunteer and go out in the world. Like any
Mhm.
event that I've ever been at so far, I'm like, do for others, go out there in the world. We need more volunteers. Like I said, I'm on the Rotary in town and there's just not enough people. It'd be better if there was more people because you can do
Mhm.
more, right?
Like
So
you're
whatever organization you get involved with, just go and do it because even if it's a little bit of time, people are like, oh, I don't really have a lot of time. A little bit of time. Go once a month to a meeting and help out. Like that's like my journey now is trying to get other people to volunteer and get out in the world because it makes you feel good and then you're helping others along the way.
exactly. I love what you just said. Because of course, when like I feel like when COVID happened, it changed the way a lot of people go out and do things. Of course, like COVID, everyone's stuck in their homes. They couldn't do anything for a couple months to a year. And of course, with COVID, it came with restrictions, and people were scared to go out because they didn't want to get sick. Of course, with age, age varies how sick people get. Wait, of course, what every person is different how symptoms get, but of course, with COVID, it really changed the way people really want to go out and volunteer. And in terms of going out, I know a lot of people don't like to go out as much as they did because they don't like to get sick or whatever that purpose may be. And of
Sure.
course, I as someone who works two jobs, I often see those two type of things where people are often not coming showing up for these type of things, or they're not coming out to volunteer or going to sporting events or whatever that may be. And I've seen it just go down dramatically, and it really the COVID has really impacted the way people kind of showed up to volunteer, or even going out in general.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that affected mental health for so many people
Mhm.
where, people would go out and do things or now because they stayed inside so long, now they're used to being inside. Like I even noticed with even my daughter, my younger daughter, she's a senior. I noticed that ever since COVID, she's in her room more than she ever was before. Whereas she would always be at cheerleading and which she still does, but she'd always be out and doing things and she's doing less of that. The kids are more home, which I love having them home. I'm like, go do things. But that's affected a lot, especially children, where they were so used to always being able to do things. And depending on the parents, some parents may be more concerned, or if they have, different health conditions already. So there's a lot more kids staying in. Whereas me, like I said, at 50, you came home from school, you were out the door. You didn't come
Mhm.
home until you were hungry.
Yeah,
So,
like, that's honestly the best like, all the stories I hear from, like, my parents or everyone, like, everyone was out and about when they're younger, maybe, like, 80s, 90s, around that point, and now everyone is, like, stuck in their homes, barely going out. Like, I used to go out a lot as a kid. Now I'm just, like, a homebody, like, love to do things to be stuck in my room doing whatever I need to do, whether it's, like, watching TV or doing work 24/7, whatever it is, I'm always in my room. And it's very rare for me to go outside and actually enjoy myself at this point after COVID.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
really shows how much people, especially teenagers in high school, really change how much they go out nowadays, especially with things they really
yeah.
are passionate about.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, it has changed mental health. So one of the projects that I'm working on with a good friend of mine, James Norkowicz, is the Lighthouse Project. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that's our goal for this year. Is it's about mental health and what can we do to fill those lives of people that they don't go down a dangerous path for them. So whether it be fitness, whether it be music, whether it be the arts, so we're trying to come up with collaboration with a bunch of different people to steer people that are, have some mental health issues. What can I do to fill my time? Because like I said, people aren't going out. Like you said, they may not be going to the gym or going to all these and a club that they belong to or anything that they're doing. So we're trying to bring those things back to their lives. Like it's okay now. Let's try to, bring yourself back into those things that you used to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing I think what happens with mental health, depression, is they start to lose interest in the things they enjoy. So
Mm-hmm.
this project, the
Definitely.
Lighthouse Project, it's in very, very, small building stages right now, but that's our project. Bringing
Mm-hmm.
more awareness to mental health and what we can do to help people that are having depression issues, anxiety issues, and things they can be filled in their lives to help them be, you know, more fulfilled in their lives going forward.
That is such a great idea. I interviewed James Zarkovich at one point. It was this year, late last year. It was recently, and he's a
Yep.
really amazing human being. And that is such a project not a lot of people do. From what I've seen, there gonna be tons of out there that I personally not seen. And I know with that, it's such an important matter of people who do have anxiety, depression, like deal with mental health issues, especially during COVID, like you said earlier, a lot of people have faced mental health crisis ever since COVID happened 4 years ago. And it's still happening to this day with mental health. And it did become such a huge factor ever since COVID happened. It really did change dramatically for a lot of teenagers and adults over these last course of 4 years. And I know there's a lot of people are looking for tons of resources to feel better and feel wanted to get out and find something to do. So that is something that I know a lot of people will take into.
For sure. So that's where I'm heading for this year for 2024 is that project, Lighthouse Project.
I'll
And like I
definitely
said, it's
sneak
gonna take
peek
a
of
lot of
that.
work. It's gonna be on the lookout for it. It's gonna be it's in the works. James and I are working diligently, more him than me, because like I said, I have my last tour as a senior. I have 4 more weeks of cheerleading, and then I can devote all my time to this project.
And more the merrier. I have 1 year left of high school left. I'm a junior, so who knows? More time on
Yep.
me and my parents' hands for sure.
Yes.
But do you think now was kind of like the best time to compete in pageants for you, especially rather than when you were a kid?
I didn't know enough when I was a kid, right? Like I don't think I had that confidence. Maybe that would have helped, right? Like I did this pageant and I was young. My sister was young. She was 8 years old. So for her, I was 20. She was about 8 years old, right? Or maybe no, she was younger than she was 6 years old. And I don't think I knew enough. I just figured, it's something for us to do together. And it was fun because we had a big age difference. And I'm like, let's just go do something together. So it was fun, but I'm glad I did it now because now not that I really even had an idea about pageants either, but I had a different confidence level and I was a different state in my life where I can do something and I was ready to do something. I think people forget that pageantry isn't about the glitz and the glamour. The glitz and the glamour gets you there, but what do you do after you're done? You have to be ready to do whatever you say you're going to do. It's kind of like being elected for like president of your class, right? You need to be ready to go do the things that are passionate to you out in the world, right? You shouldn't
Mhm.
just say, well, I really like for me with the Red Cross, right? That was one of the things we mentioned. The Red Cross is a big deal to me. And the reason why the Red Cross is a big deal to me is because I almost died when I was young. I had a female surgery that oopsied at Yale, hit my obturator nerve, and I ended up on a respirator for a week. Well, if I had to be given 11 liters of blood because I just kept spewing it back out. So even though I started giving blood in 1992, I started giving blood. My stepmother had said, "Hey, it's a good idea. You have O blood." Back now, a few years later, I almost died. And for me, I'm like, wait a minute. If people didn't donate blood, I wouldn't be alive today, right?
Mhm.
So for me, I give every 60 days, right? But that's my passion. And I tell that to the world. And they said, my director had said, that's why I won the pageant. They said, you went up there and they happened to ask me of all the questions they could have asked, what's your favorite charity and why? The American Red Cross is my favorite charity. One, it resonates with me, but two, it's my passion. I go and tell everyone I'm on Facebook or Instagram checking in. I'm at the, I'm going
Mhm.
to this one. But it's important to share your message out in the world. So, because if you don't share your message and other people are like, oh, wait a minute, I have O blood or I have whatever I have, let me go out and donate as well. And, people think, well, they can't, or they're too old, or they're too young, or I'm like, bring your message out into the world. So that's, as far as the pageantry goes, that was one of my big things. American Red Cross is important to me, and I make sure that everywhere that I go, people know that. Whether they do anything with it or not, it doesn't really matter. For me, I know I put the message out there, and maybe one day they'll see a sign somewhere at their community center. I'm like, you know what? I remember hearing that. Let me go do that. Right?
Like, I know with posting things on social media about the Red Cross, I know with promoting, even though maybe people won't never see and won't do anything, at least someone might see and be like, okay, like maybe I'll donate blood this one time only.
Right.
Just because of that one post, because a post can be so impactful. Whenever you have a couple of friends or a million or even a billion followers on your social media pages, it can
Right.
impact at least one person. Because of course, with your experience, even if you didn't have enough blood, even if you donate, someone, at least one person will take out at least your blood to help impact at least one or two lives. Like it can be so impactful.
Right. For sure. For sure. And for me, every 60 days I go. So next week I'm going. Every
Ooh.
60 days.
Now you got me into maybe signing up now. Okay.
Go
I
do
might actually
it.
do it this time. But with American Red Cross, I'm so happy you brought that up because that's
Yep.
something I actually wanted to talk with you about. And
Right.
of course, with American Red Cross, they are a bit, especially on disasters, I don't know, these things. Like, have you ever been on site during a disaster or anything like that? Or if so, like, what was kind of your experience?
I've never been on site, and obviously, if there was something that I could have volunteered for, it was something I definitely would have done. The only experience that I have was actually during 9/11.
Mm,
I wasn't on site for 9/11, but I felt a deep impact from it. I was on a cruise ship, which is an odd thing, and there was there were so many people that knew people back home, and I remember just being out in the atrium and seeing people upset, and just me going over there. I remember they were seeing this one woman, and she must have lost somebody, and she didn't really want to talk about it, and they turned off the big TVs in the atrium, and you had to go watch them in your room, and and I just said, would you need something? And she's like, let me go get you a glass of water. And she was just, thank you so much. She's like, I can't believe you came up to me. And I'm like, yeah, you see someone in need. Like, it was a very, like I said, I wasn't on a disaster site. But like I said, it was just, we were on the cruise ship, and it all came on our screens and, for news in the morning. And I remember watching it and then going out, and people were just, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't get back home, and we had to be escorted back. The military had to come on the ship, and but it was just helping even that one woman. For me, was you have to do that. Like, I think we're losing some of that. I went to church the other day, and I was telling my husband, I think people are losing compassion, right?
mm,
They're losing their compassion. And maybe some of it is a little bit of that COVID, germs, or, you know, I people don't even open the door for people anymore. Like, anytime I'm in a store, I look behind me every single time. And maybe because I was raised that way. And people are like, they look, oh my God, thank you so much. And I'm like, people are shocked that I'm opening a door. Or I'll see somebody coming, especially elderly. Forget it. I'm sold all the time when I see elderly people coming. And I'll wait and I'll hold the door, and they're like, oh my God, child. They're like, got this woman, okay, child. Like, I'm 50, but she was like, that's people are losing compassion and empathy
mm.
in the world. Right. And that's, you can't teach that, I don't think. I mean, you can, so the more you do, the more people see, I guess. But as much as I think I would be, very impactful in a situation like that, where if I was ever somewhere where there was a disaster, I'm like a go person, right? Like, I know how to pick up the pieces when things are bad. That's always been like my thing. Like my aunt
Yeah.
always says, if there's a crisis, Liza will take care of it. I make the phone calls, I do the things like so. Like I said, one little old woman in the middle of an atrium for me, to me, I love helping people.
Mhm. I'm the same exact way. Like at 17 years old, whenever I'm
It's
out and
amazing.
about, I'm always looking around. I'm like, is there anyone behind me? Like I'm always looking behind me. And I honestly seen a lot of people always not look behind, it's closing the doors right in front of people's
Right.
faces. I'm like,
In my face
okay,
sometimes. In my face. I'm like, I'm right here.
I'm right here. You can't see me, but I can see. Can you at least turn around for 2 seconds, please? That's all I
Yep.
can take,
Yep.
please. But to wrap up this episode, like,
Okay.
where can people connect with you?
So I'm was getting better at social media with the whole pageant, and I haven't been as great at it, but I'm getting my friend Jim Norkowitz is like, you got to get back on. You were doing so good with your pageant posts, and now you've died. But I am on social media. I'm on Liza Ginoni on both Instagram and Facebook. Um, I'm on everything as Liza Ginoni. Like if I'm on, I mean, like I said, I'm on TikTok because of the passion. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. Liza Ginoni across the board. On everywhere. So I have
That's
a
a good
website. I
thing to
got rid of
have
my
that you're
website.
on
I do.
social media.
Yeah,
Social
I do
media.
fitness stuff, but I find that people go towards social media more than a website. Even though,
Mm,
like I said, my friend James was like, you got to get your website back. I'm like, okay.
but we'll bring it back slowly. Like it takes time.
Yes, bring it back. I'm bringing it back. Like
But
my generation,
I
they're like, my kids are like, Mom, you can't have a TikTok account.
yeah, I know a lot of people my age. I say that personally as some people. I'm like, you can be as old as you want. But not, I know a lot of
Yeah.
teenagers don't like to see their parents on TikTok,
Yeah. No.
including
No.
me. I'm not the only one, but I
Yeah.
know a lot from personal experience. Not a lot of teenagers
Yes.
like to see their parents on TikTok. But you do you like
I
if
do
you
me.
want to do
Right.
TikTok, go
Yeah.
ahead, do
Just
whatever
do
you
it.
want.
But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was fun today. Like I said, just talking about my journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I love having you on, and I'm so happy James connected me and you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, James, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are. But I really appreciate you guys listening. I hope to subscribe and review, like, comment, follow us on social media, wherever you
Yes.
guys are on social media.
Yes.
And I really appreciate you joining us today and bringing some of your experience on. I definitely have to have you back.
Yes. Would
To
love
bring
to.
Circle Fitness, but I really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's very nice to meet you.
You too as well. Have a